Hi, it's Tom.
And Trevor from GreenShortz.
And this is video 4 on the DIY camper build.
I'm excited.
I kind of feel like this merch doesn't really work for this series anymore.
I don't even have merch.
You don't have merch. I was thinking something kind of like this.
Whoa.
Now how about something for you? Maybe a hoodie.
Okay. Hey, that's not bad.
It suits you. Although I think this t-shirt's a little bit chilly today. I think I want a sweatshirt. Yeah. Cozy. I think, therefore I make, and it's of course a riff on the I think, therefore I am. And it points to what I feel like is what motivates me as a maker, as a creator. I'm hoping you pick up on a little bit of that too as we're working on this camper together.
Definitely.
We hope that's true for you as well.
All right, let's get started.
Whoop whoop. This video series is sponsored by TinkTube. TinkTube is a pipe and fittings system to empower your DIY projects. TinkTube fittings also work with electrical conduit with a special adapter. When you select EMT conduit, they automatically add the adapter to your order. A quick welcome and thank you to Dolores Wiley, our newest member. My TinkTube order came in. Because I'm not 100% sure yet how this camper is going together, I bought more fittings than I think I'm probably gonna need. When this thing is done, I will quantify everything that went into it. That will let me provide you with a cost for this build. I will say there are some things that I have gotten for free. The scrap metal, the ACM. I'm gonna open up all the boxes and sort things out. I was super lucky to be able to salvage all of this aluminum composite material, ACM. Of course, this stuff needs a good cleaning. When you're getting materials salvaged, you can't always be choosy about how clean they are. Enough cleaning. You get the point. Reuse is hard work, but it's worth it. One nice feature about the ACM is that I can cut it with a circular saw. Eyes and ears, JW. This piece will be the front half of the floor, and I'll do some final fitting here in place. I had to notch this corner to fit around that chunky weld. Making a few more fine adjustments. The goal is for as snug a fit as possible and to get this tab to extend to the middle of this cross brace. Now to measure and cut out the nose while trying not to spite my face. To help myself out a little bit, I'm going to be making a cardboard template of how this front corner fits. I'll be using this method a lot on this build. I'm going to rebuild the outline of the tongue on top of the ACM here and then measure back to get that point. Because I got to add the width of the metal. Let me see how this lines up. All right, I think I'm going to cut this a little bit proud, and then I can ease up to it. I just have one section here to trim and then it'll fit. All right, I am happy with that fit. It's not perfect, but I'm going to use some EPDM rubber to do a gasket around the edges. Scraps of this rubber pond liner. I'm going to have it go underneath the ACM and then wrap up the sides. It'll provide some cushion and help me create a watertight seam. Before I cut the gasket, I'm going to pre-drill. I'm going to finish drilling through all these holes with a little cutting oil. So Trevor, this is what a good sharp drill bit looks like, making metal shavings versus smaller chips. And we're going to keep it sharp by using the cutting oil to pull the heat out of the drill bit so it doesn't re-temper. I'm going to use some sealant underneath the gasket and then some old screws that will make the punctures and mark the holes as well. I'll secure the floor and the gasket with screws, nuts, and washers. Something interesting was happening, causing the nuts to cross thread, stripping out the bolts. So I went back and looked at my packaging. Turns out I had some number 1032 and some number 1024 threads. I mixed up all the nuts and bolts, so that's why I've been cross threading. I've been mixing threads. Snug here. That's how it ought to fit. Once I got the threads figured out, this was a breeze. I only have a small heater in this garage, which barely puts a dent when it's really cold. So one of my tricks on a cooler morning like today is to open up the garage door while the sun is still low and let it heat up the slab. Once the sun gets higher and it's no longer hitting the slab, I'll close the garage door and let the residual heat warm the garage. I'm going to be making a lot of long cuts, and I want them to be really straight. Don't have a large T-square, so I'm actually going to make one out of a scrap of the ACM. I'm going to make sure to be using a factory edge. I can tell that this side was cut on the job, and that this side was cut in the factory, so I'm counting on that to be straight. This is another factory edge. My fellow YouTuber and friend Greg Porter was telling me about a method that I can use to bend this material. I don't remember exactly what he called it. Let me get him on the phone.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Going good, Greg. Hey, will you remind me of the bending method you mentioned for the ACM?
Yeah, what you're looking for is called a route and fold. It's where you cut through the top layer of metal and then all of the plastic, but just leaving that last layer so you can fold it together. You use either a V-bit or a ball nose bit to take out that material.
Got it. That sounds like it's going to take a little practice to perfect.
I can send you a link to show you how the pros do it.
Thanks for the info. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, Tom, anytime.
Rock on, brother.
By the way, Greg made that Telecaster he was playing, and you can check out that build series on his Skyscraper Guitars channel here on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description below. To do the route and fold, I'm going to leave tabs on 3 of the 4 dimensions. My front edge will butt up against the front half of the floor, but these 3 tabs here will be routed along that dimension and then fold it up. But first I need to notch out the corners. Ideally these side tabs would have been a little taller, but I'm maximizing this reused material that I've got to work with. To do the route and fold, I'm actually going to use a cove bit. The video that Greg sent me showed an angle that was wider, more open than 90, and all I could find was a 90 V-bit. So I'm going to use this cove. That'll let me get to the 90-degree bend, and then I'll backfill that space with adhesive, which will help make that joint stronger. I'm going to set the router's depth to slightly less than the thickness of the ACM.
A little bendy.
So give me some space to backfill with adhesive, and it lets me get this to a 90. It's a nice round over here, not a sharp corner. It's going to work nicely. All right, that's the test piece. Now let's go big. One thing's for sure, it's going to make a mess.
Just make sure it's on right.
I'm going to clamp down the T-square to use as a fence, and I'll need to clamp it on both ends so this thing doesn't walk on me. I'm actually going to do this cut in 2 passes. The base of the router actually slipped underneath the straight edge, and I got a little divot here, but it won't affect the fold, and the inside of this ACM is going to be covered with insulation, so you won't see it either. Although we'll need to make sure this fence doesn't ride up. Did it split?
Yeah,
How much?
not a lot.
Okay. Well, we're going to seal that whole seam, so this is good practice. The roof line will want to be better. Trevor was able to bend the back panel up quite easily, as it had a lot of width to it. On this narrow section here, we're actually going to clamp down a bending aid. All right. Good, this is a good test.
We're learning.
Push it back to the back as far as you can. works really, really nice when the thread's right. Alright, well the floor is in, and I gotta be honest with you, I thought we'd have the whole skeleton done as part of this week's video. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's better for us to kind of take our time and do it right instead of kind of rushing and not getting it quite squared.
I think we did that with the route and fold method. That was good practice. I'm happy with how that worked, and I think it's going to be really cool for the roof line to kind of turn the corner, not have a seam right at that corner.
Yeah, the first part we had was a bit of a trial and error. It took us a couple of attempts. We kind of just tried different things, but we were able to figure it out. It was good, and hopefully we'll get better.
Yeah, and you got some more time on the grinder, the cutoff wheel. How'd that feel?
Felt good. I was also able to use the drill a bit, which was pretty fun. And you know, always learning new instruments.
Yeah, drilling wood is one thing, but drilling metal is a different ball game. So you did a really good job with that. I was proud of you.
Thank you.
A special thanks to our patrons and members for helping make these videos possible. If you'd like to join us on Patreon or in the membership section of YouTube, you can check out the links in the description below.
As always, our mission here at GreenShortz is to help you see green so you can be green, and save a little green by doing it yourself.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Nice!
Let's go!
Let's go!
So you're gonna do Trevor from GreenShortz.
Okay, alright.
You got it?
Oh gosh, the hair. I don't know what to do with the hair. I was like...
That's why I wear a hat.
I know. I wear a hat at work. It makes everything easy.
Mm-hmm, it does. Hi, it's Tom.
And Trevor from GreenShortz.
And this is video...
Wait. Let's redo that. I don't like the way I sounded.
Okay.
I sound like a little too enthusiastic.
No, I like the enthusiasm. You kind of got to dial it up a little bit more than you think you need to.
Alright.
Okay, alright. Ready? And...